So glad you could join us while we're looking at God's Word in John chapter 3. By the way, this is the Vacation Bible School t-shirt that everybody that did Bible school here at First Baptist Pawnee got one of these. Yeah, all the kids and also all of the workers. And it was a great Bible school. And I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that served in Vacation Bible School this year. They did a great job, and they were faithful, and they were patient. Well, John chapter 3, verses 25 through 30. And, earlier they called Jesus Rabbi, and of course, he's more than a rabbi. And now in this particular passage, they're calling John the Baptist Rabbi, and they're wrong on both accounts. They were both teachers, but John the Baptist was more than a rabbi. As a matter of fact, John the Baptist was more than a prophet. When he was in prison and he was wondering whether or not he was right, he sent messengers to Jesus, and Jesus said, yeah, go back and tell John that all the miracles of the Messiah are being taken place. And then he said, who did you go to look for when you looked for John the Baptist? A prophet? Well, I say more than a prophet. More than a rabbi, more than a prophet. He was the forerunner of the Messiah. Rabbi doesn't quite get it. It falls short. And of course, Jesus, more than a rabbi, more than just a teacher. That's what they understood initially. But then they see all of the signs, and it's time to step up a notch or two and acknowledge what's obvious to you, whether you want to believe it or not, that John the Baptist was more than a rabbi, and Jesus was more than a rabbi and more than a prophet. And you remember in the encounter with Nicodemus said, well, nobody could do the signs that you do unless God is with him. And Jesus says, nope, doesn't quite get it. You need to be born again, Nicodemus. And then later he said, what? We say what we saw and what we heard, and you don't receive our testimony. In other words, we've said more than God is with me. Actually, God is with you in the flesh, Nicodemus. And of course, Nicodemus came around. But now we're back to John the Baptist. They encountered John the Baptist, who do you say you are, and all that kind of stuff. He says, well, I'm the voice that was spoken of in the prophets. So here we go. Therefore arose a discussion on the part of John's disciples with a Jew about purification. Remember Cana of Galilee, waters for purification, and Jesus turned the water into wine. And I'm sure there was a discussion about that, because John the Baptist was baptizing, so are you purified by washing your hands or purified by baptizing? And so, there's questions about that. And they came to John, they said, Rabbi, he who was with you beyond the Jordan, to whom you testified, behold, he is baptizing, and all are coming to him. John answered and said, a man can receive nothing unless it's been given from heaven. You yourselves are my witnesses that I said, I am not the Christ, but I have been sent ahead of him. He who has the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom who stands and hears him rejoices greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. So in other words, you can call Jesus the bridegroom, and you can call me the friend, the best man, if you please. And I rejoice when I hear the voice of the one that I want to represent. So this joy of mine has been made full. He must increase and I must decrease. Oh boy. Shouldn't that be the attitude of every believer? He must increase, I must decrease. It's more and more about God and less about me. I'm constantly having to punch that reset button that says, my life is not all about me. What do you think of me? What kind of impression can I make? How can I be famous? How can I be a big hit? How can I do something super duper important? And God says, well, actually, I went to Calvary's cross so that you could know me and love me and worship me and glorify me. It's about me. And your creation is about me, and your redemption is about me, your relationship with me. And so I love 1 Corinthians 10:31 from the Apostle Paul. Whether you eat, whether you drink, whatever you do it all to the glory of God. Yeah. It sounds easy, but we have to constantly be on our guard and make sure that it's not, I must increase. He must increase, I must decrease. God bless you real good.